Well, the numbers are in, and Joe Biden's weaponized ATF has revoked more FFLs in this past fiscal year than they have in 17 years. Before I get into it, I want to thank the sponsor of the video, and that's Lear Capital. As many of you know, I am very particular at who sponsors this show. And I want you to know that I choose Lear Capital because they are aligned with American values, and their priority is to help educate and inform people, you and I, on what's happening in not only just politics, but the economy as well, and how to protect and preserve the wealth you already have. They also have a must-read report called The Tipping Point that explains why our American financial system is broken, how the US dollar is on its way to being extinct, and the plan for countries to move out from under the US dollar with a new gold-backed currency. Will the dollar die and force us to use a digital currency? What will this mean for gold and silver? There's a lot of great insider information in this new report, and it's free. So don't wait. Do what I did and ask all the questions you could possibly think of. Write them down. Learn and absorb the knowledge so that you can decide what's right for you and your family. Lear helped me purchase my gold and my silver, and they answered all of my questions. And there's no obligation to purchase, so give them a call, 1-800-260-5075, or go to leargg.com. Learn about gold-backed IRAs or 401ks, or how storage works if you don't want to take possession of your physical gold and silver like I did. Now, Lear will give Guns and Gadgets viewers $250 in their account today, and will tell you how you can qualify and receive up to $15,000 in free bonus medals. All right, guys and gals, give them a call at 1-800-260-5075, or head over to leargg.com. And thanks to Lear Capital for sponsoring this video. Hey everybody, my name is Jared, this is Guns and Gadgets, and on this channel I bring you Second Amendment news every single day from everywhere in the country, no matter if it's good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, from litigation to legislation and everything in between. You want to stay in the know? Then you have found your home. Subscribe to the channel down below, join this growing freedom family, and I'll keep you in the loop. So the numbers have just come out, and we're going to do this kind of backwards-ish since Joe Biden changed the rule through the ATF on FFL revocations. The old rule allowed for corrections, allowed for mediations, allowed for the ATF to help an FFL who might have made an inconsequential error, whether it was clerical or whatever. They would say, hey, this is how you're supposed to do it, let's not make that mistake again, right? And if they kept making mistakes, then, you know, 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strikes, you're out type deal. Well, Joe Biden decided to change that because he has decided he is going to attack the Second Amendment and the gun industry, the firearms industry, by any means possible. And in 2021, he switched to a zero-tolerance policy. In fact, here on the screen shows you a little bit about it. The zero-tolerance policy that is in effect now says ATF will revoke a federal firearms license absent extraordinary circumstances on initial violations. The first time you make a mistake, you're done. Prior to that, the prior guidance was ATF may revoke a federal firearms license under appropriate circumstances based on an initial set of violations. Whereas ATF previously revoked licenses in appropriate circumstances, ATF will now revoke a license on initial violations unless there are extraordinary circumstances showing that revocation is not appropriate. Under this new regime, the fact that there has been one instance of a violation does not constitute extraordinary circumstances and will not be an acceptable reason for an alternate recommendation to zero-tolerance revocation. Now that is right from a report that GOA did, I think at the beginning of this year, and they go into it deep. And I will put it, I'll pin it down below for you, but here on the screen is the actual rule change. You can see it was dated on January 28 of 2022. And if you want to dive into this and read this, I will pin that below as well. So let me give you some numbers. I wrote them down here so that I can remain accurate. In 2021, before this rule went into effect in January of 2022, after Biden announced he was going to change things to a zero-tolerance policy, ATF revoked 27 FFL licenses in the country for the whole fiscal year. Well, after changing things in 2022, that number skyrocketed 240% to 92 revocations of FFL licensees. That's the most since 2008. Well, the numbers for the fiscal year of 2023 have just come in, and they are up 30% higher than last year. 122 have been revoked, which is the most since 2006. Joe Biden is absolutely decimating the federal firearms license structure, or web of stores, if you will, and people are losing their livelihoods because of this dementia patient. Now this does not include what's called a warning conference. That's when an FFL makes a mistake, like I said earlier, and they'll have a meeting with the ATF, fix things, let's get you back in compliance, and march forward and do business. Well, he's trying to not do that at all. I also want to mention that during the presidencies of Barack Obama and Donald Trump, 12 years, the most FFLs that were revoked in any single year were 81 and never went above that. Yeah, well, we're skyrocketing past that right now. I also want to remind you that Gun Owners of America are suing the ATF based off of this zero tolerance policy, where FFLs are being shut down for little tiny clerical errors. We're not talking about, FFLs who are handing out flamethrowers attached to saws. That's not what's taking place. These are moms and pops who have made an error and a clerical error. And how the ATF really gets somebody is if they don't come to that shop for 3 years, 4 years, and somebody's making the same error over and over and over again because they've never been corrected. That's how they're hammering people as well. I also want to mention this. Take this into your brain unit. Between January 1st and September of 2022, the end of September 2022, okay, not even a complete year, the ATF field offices in the following cities: Charlotte, Columbus, Houston, Louisville, New Orleans, and St. Paul, those ATF field offices all revoked FFL licenses more frequently than they issued warning conferences. That means they're revoking rather than doing their job, which is to make sure FFLs are following the rules. That's not the way it's been for all of eternity prior related to FFL's licensing. So I'm disgusted with this new number. I can't wait till this lawsuit starts to move forward a little bit and gain some traction, because this zero tolerance policy by Joe Biden is decimating mom and pop shops, and it's not a good thing. These are people who maybe made the slightest clerical error, and they're losing everything because of it. Guys, I'll have links down below, like I said, to the actual changed rule, to GOA's worksheet that they put out, their report, as well as I pinned above my initial video about GOA's lawsuit against the ATF. Let me know what you guys and gals think down below. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you each and every single one, more than you know. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.